In this episode, the countdown to launch day is truly on. Yabá has been out of the water for quite some time, and we have been working through a long list of projects to prepare Yabá for the thousands of miles we're going to sail up the Brazilian coast this year. Now, after all the repairs, upgrades, and countless jobs around the boat, we've finally reached the point where the only thing standing between us and launch day is painting the antiflow. The boat behind us is finally launching, which means our turn is just around the corner, so we gather all the help we can get and work on the very last major task before Yabá returns to the water. After everything we've done to get here, launch day has never felt so close.
We came back to this yard for one main reason, which was it was about time that we painted the antifouling again. And it's been, a month that we're on the dry and we still haven't done it. Why? Because painting the antifouling is the last thing that you do right before going back. So we've been waiting, doing other jobs, and leaving the antifouling for last. Now we just got the green light from Zeca that it's time to paint the antifouling, which means that it's time to go back to the water. So we have this whole massive boat to paint, at least 3 coats, that's what we're going to do. So that's why we have many hands that are going to help. We have Ben and myself, of course, the dogs, they're going to put them to work, and then my parents, my cousin, and my uncle. So many hands are going to put...
Nico.
Nico's also going to paint, okay. And Nico is also going to help, so many hands to try to make this job as quick as possible. Hopefully by the end of the day today, we're going to have 1 coat. Hopefully no, we will have 1 coat. And then tomorrow we want to finish the extra 2 coats, and then we'll be ready to float Yabá again. And of course, it's not the same as the first time that we launched Yabá after 3.5 years working on her, but still I'm feeling like all the butterflies. We've done this before, so we shouldn't be too bad at it.
And it has begun!
Let the games begin!
First coat out of, we don't know how many to be honest, we're just
3.
going to keep going. Your face is blue, is mine as well?
Everything is blue.
Anyway, first coat on, big milestone because we're going to head into the water soon, which it's been super nice here, but it's time for us to
It was lovely to be back here because we love this place, but the reason we have a boat is so we can sail, so we really cannot wait to go back.
And there is a charm in working hard and being dirty and sweaty and all that, but that charm finishes as well. And I think 1 month is fine. I don't know how some people do it for like over 3 years.
And a half?
And it's like crazy. I don't know how you could do that.
How could you think of doing
But I think
that?
a month is a sweet spot. First coat, tomorrow we're gonna, when we're a bit more sane, we're gonna go over and do some touch-ups, and then it'll be ready for the 2nd and 3rd, and then if there's leftovers, 4th. So today is a super special day because it's Clayton's birthday, and there's going to be a barbecue, which is, it makes up for all of this mess over here.
A barbecue to celebrate this huge milestone, celebrate Clayton's birthday, celebrate that we are going to the water soon, and it's our last weekend here, so a very well deserved barbecue.
You know what I think is funny? This boat's ready, but that boat isn't. We'll see.
I don't
they're
think
working hard.
Funny is a good word.
They're
for
working
that.
hard, but they only put one quick coat of anti-fouling and they lift every 6 to 12 months, so it's not like us. They're not going to be
2 years,
adrift
ideally.
beyond the horizon. Anyway, let's get all this stuff up and get cleaned up and have some nice barbie. The first coat has been applied yesterday. It's looking epic. Now the plan is to go with the second one already. However, there are a lot of spots and a lot of you might have wondered why those spots are not painted. I'll explain right now how we do it, and that is where these wedges are, where the supports are of the boat, where the boat is resting on both sides. We have a lot of unpainted areas. Now, are you wondering how we paint under them? That's what I'm going to show you right now. You literally get a sledgehammer. In my case, not a sledgehammer, a small hammer. And before hitting them out, you want to make sure you have some other supports. So I'm going to hit that one out. I might add another support a bit further forwards. And then before hitting that one out, I'm going to put one slightly further up. And then we can get that covered before we add the second coat, because we kind of want to coat this boat with anti-fouling evenly. Also, yesterday was a very intense job. Lots of people. You tend to skip a lot of areas. I've seen a lot of areas like around the lights in little corners, so that's what I'm also going to cover up today. I'm going to try and make the most of the old brushes and rollers. So I've got some cleaning thinner, some strong thinner over here, some brushes. Let's see what we can make the most of. So before getting that second coat on, let's make sure this one is completely covered. And luckily there is an abundance of massive blocks of wood here that we can use. All that just to paint the anti-fouling. The entire hose hole is exposed, so I'm going to paint under those two supports now. And then I'm just going to get the roller, paintbrush, and touch up everything that hasn't been done. And then over and over and over again, moving back to the previous supports to paint under these once it's dry, and then removing them again to paint what we just did now, and so on and so on. Today, before we go to the next coat, which will be tomorrow, supposed to be today, but this took a long time. So tomorrow we're going to go with the full coat, but today I just went with a little roller, making sure everything was covered, and then with a little brush around the lights, through holes, stuff like that, little joints by the keel, just to make sure the first coat is completely done. Now, it's a very, I painted, not as much yesterday. It's a very slow but detailed job, which is just a beer in the hand, a paintbrush in the other, some music, and take your time and do it right. But yeah, super happy with this. The dog is chilling over there. We had a little leftovers of yesterday's barbecue. We have that today as well. We've still got the cool box here. Got a bit of tidying up to do, but that was epic. Very hot day, but slow and steady wins the race. So there's a lot of effort going into this. Click that like button if you enjoyed this specific episode, and if you enjoy all our episodes and you're not a subscriber yet, or if you're new here, just click that subscribe button. It's completely free. The only thing that changes for you guys is that subscribe button becomes a button that's called subscribed. That's all, and a bunch of other benefits without cost. So please do that. Really appreciate it, and see you soon. Today was going to be the day that we were going to have everyone over again and paint the anti-fouling with the paint rollers. And then behind us, all of a sudden, we saw someone painting anti-fouling with a compressor gun, an airless compressor gun. And I thought that looks so much easier. It gets spread evenly and you don't miss any spots, because sometimes the roller doesn't get in any gaps. After that, I said, what's up with all the effort of 7 people, 7 rolls lying in the dirt painting the anti-fouling? So we got in contact with our neighbours, Boyu and Andre, with their own anti-fouling. So usa para envenenado essa? Também. They use this for everything, including anti-fouling, and they've done a lot of boats. I really trust them, and I'm really curious to see how this works, because I have never seen anti-fouling being done with a spray gun before. Very curious. I am going to stand by, because they're going to, once they've painted everything, I'm going to have to remove this and put it there so they can paint under here and stuff. But whatever, we'll see how it goes. I'm super excited to see how this goes. It should take one person 1 hour to 1.5 hours to do it, instead of, the usual full day of your whole family and friends working on it. We have technically finished the anti-fouling of the boat. There are 3 coats on top of the current layers we had. And guys, let us know in the comments, do you think the first, 5 or 6 coats that we had before are still going to be useful right now or not? In my opinion, even if they are not useful as anti-fouling, it is giving us more coats between the water and the wood, if you see what I mean. If this ever does get used, we might go down to the old layers as backup. Either way, the first coat was applied with me and P, Lucas, Nico, and a bunch of our family. Everyone's sweating, suffering, with a roller under the keel and so on. Then I saw the back guys painting the boat with a compressor, and I'm like, why don't we do that? So I found under there, who's a good friend of ours, with Buyu, who then put an extra 2 coats on today. It is stinking hot today. I literally just put this t-shirt on. Can you believe it? That's just come from coming down the ladder. Either way, 3 coats on and 1 tin left, which for us is perfect. That's what we planned, because that last tin, I'm just gonna dilute it nicely and cover up some areas that I feel I still need it, even though with the compressor he's practically done a perfect job. But he didn't get close to the waterline, so I'm just going to go over there with a roller and then maybe with a paintbrush at some places. But that's it. The boat behind us is looking stunning as well. Anti-fouling, anodes, waterline painted, the hull painted, everything beautiful. So they're going in the water today. Whether we can go in straight after them or not, it is going to be an evening tide, so we might have to wait for tomorrow. But yeah, super happy about this stern bit. We'll only see it properly when the paint's been removed, but it looks quite smooth. It looks natural. It doesn't look odd. At least in the previous episode, you might have noticed we suddenly changed Yabá's waterline near the trans. That wasn't a small decision, and it certainly wasn't a spontaneous one. In fact, a lot of thought went into it.
Before we get carried away with the idea of changing slightly our waterline, I'm gonna just do a quick test visually to see if what we're thinking of doing is not actually a crime. How do you feel about this? That there's too much reflection and you don't see it, right? I don't think it's a crime. It doesn't look like a crime to me. You know what's a crime? Having always a very dirty waterline here. And it's gonna be solved by committing this other crime that seems way lighter. I'm convinced. Yeah! You think it's a crime?
No. I have another idea. I just think it's going to make a crime is having the white looking brown. So let's...
Do you think the fish are going to judge it?
During this painting of just the touch-ups, look who arrived. Our good friend Marquinho, offering his help. Irmão, braço. Always here to give a hand. So he's got a small roller, we've got a big roller, and we're just going to go anywhere where we think those bloody barnacles can get. Anti-fouling is a wrap. We went around 2 more times, me and Marquinho. Marquinho and I with the roller around the waterline on places we know there's lots of barnacles, and we left a tiny bit left in the tin because tomorrow we're going to notice a little spot that we forgot, and then we're going to have to buy a new tin. So it's a good trick. If you don't find anything, just put it over just before launch. Either way, everything is done. You might notice the tape is still on here, still on the grounding plate. I know someone from this channel that isn't me or the dogs who loves removing the tape. So I'm not going to do that without her. She'll be here any second now. She's been taking care of a lot of other things that are boat related but are not on the boat. But my gosh, was it hot. I have been so anxious for this moment, but I had to wait for this lady to arrive because she'll be so upset if I did it without her. But I'll give you first the honors, and you can do it first. I think it looks cool. Oh.
Yeah.
It looks good.
It definitely looks better than a dirty hull.
Yeah.
So it's a win no matter what. Nice.
So we took the inspiration from that, but didn't do it at
an angle. So
at an angle.
Harsh.
And look at that, beautiful. And for the second moment of truth. Yeah, so we can touch that up. And that's exactly why I didn't want to use every single drop of anti-fouling until the tape's off. Oh! That's white touch up. What did we forget before launch, after launching last time?
It was a secret, but we forgot to remove the tape from the transducer and we had to dive to get it.
Imagine doing that under the water.
Okay, you have to hold your breath while doing it, yeah?
I'll let you hold your breath and I'll film. Is it shiny still? Not yet.
Easy.
There's a bit of blue.
Can I admit that I was happy we had to replace our transducer because it was so nice to see my friend. But please behave. I promise I'll go visit her. You don't need to break.
Have you had your moment? Can I go now?
Yeah.
It's white. Oh. Do you think we can make it 3 years without lifting the boat now?
I think if we keep moving like we're planning
Moving
to,
and cleaning.
moving as in never stay anchored for more than 2 weeks on the same spot.
And not hitting ground.
Ideally not hitting ground.
Oh, so this side, your side was more so.
I was just doing a better job than you.
What did you say? Stuff dries so fast in this heat. The full length. If this rips now, I'll be so upset. Reminds me of the scene with the slinky on Ace Ventura going down the temple and it stops on the last step.
Go, Slinky, go! Oh, man! Can you believe it?
Last bit. Yay! High five.
We're ready.
This boat behind us was the only excuse for us not to go to the water soon. So now that they're getting ready to go, that means we're gonna go too.
Do you recognize this red boat? It is the boat that was on the shipyard when we lifted for the first time ever in this yard. It was also here the day we launched. When we lifted our boat just now, he was on the dry. We were waiting for him to launch. So it's all synchronized with this boat almost. And Marcelo, the owner of this boat, and Andrea, his wife, are really, really good friends of ours. Now, there was a day when I had to leave the dock by myself. MP wasn't here. Marcelo came on board to help me. And now, that's our shipyard there. The boat behind us. Now, as they are going to launch, we've got to move and he's alone. So why not help out a good friend as well? So let's get this engine started. Leave this little entrance of the shipyard so that we can come back and tie back onto this. And then tomorrow he's gonna have to leave again because it's our turn. insane. It's so epic. See how many wooden fishing vessels are still active right now. We just saw our friends of Camilla Camilla over there. They've docked up for their fleet, and now we're heading back to the yard, which is right over there. Mission accomplished, and tomorrow the same thing. He's gonna do the same thing because look who's next. And apparently, well, we've never been put in the water from so high up. We're gonna fly down with gravity and just quite nervous about that, but it'll be fun.
If everything goes right, in 24 hours, it's our turn.
This is super exciting because now it's just, of course he has to move first. It was so nice being on a boat, having him as a captain, because I could just put my feet up and wait for us to dock until I had to do stuff. So I got to see some really cool things, appreciate the boats. Either way, now you can see there's enough space for us to just go wham into the water and off to our next destination. Tonino and Zeko are telling us this crib has to move next to our boat. To do that, ideally the tide will be low. So we're gonna let the tide drop, let them do the maneuver, and then we're going with the next ideal tide. The next high tide is at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, which I don't think we're going to take. So we are going to go down on the 5 p.m. tide, which is going to be a lot more pleasant for everyone. So we've got one more day to literally make sure everything is perfect. And I'm saying it now, mark my words. We didn't live for 2 years. Let's see if we can go for 3 years being responsible and reasonable. I think taking care of the hull and the locations we're at and so on, we can make 3 years. But yeah, tomorrow is launch day.